Bentley's relationship with Le Mans didn't start smoothly. In 1923, Walter Owen Bentley famously reacted to the news of John Duff's intention to enter the first-ever Le Mans 24-hour race with a Bentley 3-liter by declaring, "I think the whole thing's crazy. Nobody'll finish. Cars aren't designed to take that sort of strain for 24 hours." Despite his skepticism, Walter Owen Bentley's competitive spirit drove him to make a last-minute trip to the Sarthe circuit. Duff's fourth-place finish and fastest lap inspired WO and Bentley Motors to return in 1924 with a factory team, and they won. This victory marked the beginning of a glorious decade, with Bentley securing 5 wins in 7 years. Racing was central to Bentley's early identity, bolstered by the daring exploits of the Bentley Boys, a group of British motorists who played a significant role in Bentley's success. They not only promoted the car among social elites, but also helped achieve 4 consecutive Le Mans victories, even aiding in the company's financial struggles. Woolf Barnato, 1895 to 1948. Heir to Barney Barnato, a wealthy South African landlord, Woolf Barnato profoundly influenced Bentley's history. In 1925, he rescued the company from financial difficulties, though he couldn't prevent its eventual acquisition by Rolls-Royce in 1931. With shares in Rolls-Royce, Barnato quickly returned to Bentley. He raced at Le Mans 3 times for Bentley, achieving 3 of Bentley's 4 consecutive wins in the late 1920s. Dr. J. Dudley Benjafield, 1887-1957. In 1926, Benjafield drove for Bentley at Le Mans, but failed to finish. However, in 1927, he and co-driver Sammy Davis won Bentley's second Le Mans victory. Despite continued racing efforts, Benjafield never replicated his 1927 success. Sir Henry Birkin, 1896-1933. Birkin began racing in 1921 at Brooklands, initially pressured to quit by his family, but eventually succumbing to the lure of Bentley. In 1928, he raced at Le Mans, finishing 5th with co-driver Jean Cassin. Following year, Birkin and co-driver Woolf Barnato won the race. Birkin was disheartened by Bentley's withdrawal from Le Mans in 1930 and its takeover by Rolls-Royce in 1931. He continued racing, winning Le Mans for Alfa Romeo in 1931, before his untimely death in 1933. Frank Clement, 1886-1970. Clement, along with John Duff, represented Bentley at Le Mans in 1923, finishing 4th. In 1924, they achieved Bentley's first Le Mans victory. Clement raced for Bentley until 1930, but never won Le Mans again, despite Bentley's continued success. John Duff, 1895-1958. Duff, one of only 2 Canadians to win at Brooklands, and the only Canadian to win Le Mans, secured Bentley's first Le Mans victory in 1924. After a disappointing 1925 race, Duff retired from Le Mans and pursued racing in America. An injury in 1926 led to his retirement from racing. In May 1923, a lone Bentley embarked on a journey from London, bound for France. Behind the wheel was Canadian racer John Duff, fellow driver Frank Clement by his side. Crammed into the back seat amidst tools and spare parts were mechanics Arthur Saunders and Jack Besant. Their destination was Le Mans, where a new endurance race for production cars was about to make its debut. 24-hour challenge that would test the limits of both man and machine. Duff and Clement represented the only British entry in this inaugural event. Despite facing significant setbacks, including a ruptured fuel tank that nearly derailed their efforts, the duo displayed remarkable resilience. After the tank burst, Duff had to run 3 miles back to the pits. There, Clement, armed with petrol, borrowed a gendarme's bicycle, pedaled against the flow of traffic, and managed to plug the leak, allowing them to continue. Their determination paid off as they crossed the finish line in 4th place, marking a significant achievement in the history of British motorsport. Inspired by their 1923 performance, W.O. Bentley provided full factory support in 1924. Duff and Clement, in an improved car, secured Bentley's first Le Mans win. Despite Woolf Barnato's hat trick of wins and the dramatic 1927 victory by Dudley Benjafield and Sammy Davis, Bentley's early triumphs cemented their legacy at Le Mans. Davis, a journalist and accomplished racer, teamed up with Benjafield, a doctor with a passion for speed, as the crew of one of 3 Bentleys in the 1927 Le Mans race. All 3 cars were involved in the infamous White House crash. As night fell and they approached the blind turn at Maison Blanche, Davis sensed trouble ahead and braked early. He rounded the bend to find a chaotic scene of wrecked cars, including those of his teammates. To avoid further damage to his engine, Davis threw his car sideways but still collided with one of the wrecked vehicles, bending a wheel, an axle, chassis, and the right front wing. After ensuring everyone was safe, he painstakingly coaxed the number 3 Bentley back to the pits. Race regulations required that only the driver could work on the car using onboard tools. Davis labored for minutes that turned into hours, initially choosing not to hand over to Benjafield. Eventually, he took a leap of faith, the damaged machine, and pressed on. Throughout the night, both Davis and Benjafield had to make frequent running repairs, but managed to maintain enough speed to close the gap to the leading Aries, whose engine gradually faltered and failed with less than 2 hours remaining. Bentley's improbable victory at Le Mans not only put the race on the map, but also solidified their place in motorsport history. Following this triumph, Benjafield founded the British Racing Drivers Club. His love of competition and zest for life later inspired the founding principles of another club, which now proudly bears his name. In 1931, Bentley faced bankruptcy and was acquired by Rolls-Royce. Bentley did not return to Le Mans until 2001, under Volkswagen ownership. A century later, the same number 8 Bentley returned to London, proudly leading a group of over 30 Bentleys, all part of the Benjafield's Racing Club, ready to recreate the historic journey back to France. The famous number 8 machine that began Bentley's journey 100 years ago finished a respectable 52nd with Jonathan Turner at the wheel. 4 spots behind was Adrian Stevens in a 1923 saloon, car once owned by Benjafield and used by him to see patients during his rounds. It was a fitting end to a remarkable adventure, highlighting that, while racing will always be important, for the members of Benjafield's Racing Club, it's the participation that truly counts. If you enjoyed this story about the daring journey of John Duff and Frank Clement at the first ever Le Mans, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community. Your support helps us keep bringing you these incredible tales from the world of motorsport and beyond. Let us know in the comments what other historic races or legendary moments you'd like to hear about next time. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.